Could you hear the sound of the song
No.
Yes.
when we played it before?
Yes. Yes. It was clear.
Okay. Good evening to all of you. Today we are going to just talk about what is called as neuroresilience. Now, resilience is your ability to bounce back after any kind of change. It need not necessarily be a good change, bad change. It doesn't matter what kind of change. It is your ability to bounce back. And neuroresilience is, if you understand the neuroscience behind resilience, you will learn how to bounce back faster, bigger, better, and stronger. So today I'm just going to introduce to you the concept of neuroresilience. Now, literally, this is how we need to be, because life is full of challenges, somebody or others punching us in our face all the time. And you literally have to be covered with springs all over your body. So just like this, you have to keep bouncing back. Whenever you're knocked down, you must be able to bounce back. You know, these little dolls they have, those roly-poly dolls. When you tap it, it will come back to original position. So we all have to become like that. And why am I even talking about resilience, and how is resilience relevant to 2025? See, resilience is our capacity to adapt to anything that's happening around us, and not only adapt, but to thrive in the middle of the challenge or adversity. So, this is very important for our mental health, for our workplace productivity, for our social well being. And in 2025, there's been in depth studies, and I'm going to present to you some of the research that shows that in 2025, like about 2, 3 years ago, a lot of importance was given to emotional intelligence. But in 2025, the skill to have, the life skill for you to have is resilience. And into resilience is included emotional intelligence and everything else. So, what are the key understandings that we have got and key takeaways we got after doing from this research? These each one is giving you the authentic, original research title as well, so that you don't think this is some newspaper article or something like that. These are very, very highly respected organizations. So, it has been found in this study that 60% of adults, after a challenge, they've actually shared that their resilience is better. But what we tend to do, most of us, when we are faced with a challenge, we try to avoid it. We try to escape it. We don't want to come out of our comfort zone. We want to stay there. But it has been proven that if you experience the challenge, you overcome the challenge, you fight through the challenge, that you actually become more resilient and what I call as being stress fit. They also found that when an employee is very resilient, they are 35% more productive than the others in the group. So this is NIH, National Institutes of Health, government organization report. So it's the value. Is a thinking, why should I even learn to how to be resilient? Or what is this resilience? It's one newfound fangled term. It's some new fad. It's not any new fad. It is something that has been in existence for centuries. But only now we are realizing its importance and how it can make a better difference to our lives. Then you've got the next set of researches that when you incorporate a resilience training program in your workplace, 40% improvement in mental health happens. When you incorporate it in your personal life, like we are doing it on a one-to-one, one to group, one to small group, one to individuals kind of thing. You'll find that your mental health outcome with all this chaos and all the confusion that's going on in the world, all this competition, all this pressure, all this stress, all this fear, doubt, which we are surrounded with, when you are resilient, you're able to handle all that with the word what we call as equanimity. You stay balanced, you stay equal. And 75% of those who practice mindfulness have shown that their emotional resilience, when somebody says something to you, you feel hurt, you carry it for years on end, months on end, you're able to just let it go, release it, and come back. And to help you to gain your resilience, mindfulness is a very, very useful practice. Also, they found that when college students were found to be very resilient, they don't drop out of college, because very often college can be very stressful. There can be bullying, there can be the difficulty in handling the subject, inability to, face the competition, the studies, the demands placed on them, the parallel distractions that they are subjected to, and how they have to overcome that. They want peer recognition. All of this can be very challenging for a college student. And they found that a college student who has very strong resilience skill is likely to complete the course and likely to do well in the course. So all of this research is very valuable to tell us that it's very important. It's a skill that all of us need to acquire in 2025 and beyond. The American Psychological Association also reiterated similar things, that very similar statistics we got. In the global background, if you look, there is something called Global Resilience Index, where they measure the emotional, mental, and physical adaptability of people. And they found that actually by 2025, there is a 4% increase. But in my opinion, for a global index to rise only by 4% means that so many others are breaking down. It should actually be 30-40% at least. Instead, it's just 4%. And in general, it has been found that women are able to be more resilient. And since all of us in this room are women, we know it. We know that when a stress occurs, the men are very bad at handling it. Women handle it much better. They found that 65% of women do better than 58% when they face a personal crisis. Interestingly enough, the younger generation, that is 18 to 34 age, they face a lot of stress. But when they are subjected to change and difficulty and challenges, they are able to recover much faster. So as you grow older, probably because your subconscious is so full of so much stuff which you've been carrying throughout your life, this flexibility, that is why in earlier sessions we've done topics as cognitive flexibility, that ability, mental agility. Last time we did a masterclass on mental agility. That mental agility is not so good as you grow older. And that is why younger people are able to bounce back from a challenge much better than an older person. Workplace, they have found that if you don't have some kind of structured resilience training, there is a lot of burnout. But if you have a training, you're able to decrease burnout by 30% and decrease turnover rate, people leaving the job and attrition, etc., by 25%. So now 88% of Fortune 500 companies, they have a resilience coaching program incorporated into their mental wellness programs. And in 2020, during COVID, mind you, then itself, it was very popular because people were so stressed during COVID. It was only 72%. It has by 2025 jumped to 88%, which means the Fortune 500 companies, which are the successful companies, have recognized that this is an extremely important thing that is necessary to run a good business. Because they found that when a person is resilient, they are 50% less likely to take time off for sickness. And they're able to adapt much better to various changes in the workplace. So, what is the connection between mental health and resilience? So, today I'm going to show you a little bit of the neuroscience behind this, but it has been shown that when you are resilient, when there is a long-term psychological distress or a trauma, say you lost a loved one in COVID, or you faced a tsunami, or you had to you were a soldier in the war, or something like that, when you've had major psychological stress, or you are a caregiver to a dementia patient, or you're a caregiver to a handicapped child. Now, all of this can create a lot of stress in a person, and the mental wellness suffers. For all of this, if you are basically more resilient, you can handle the your mental state much better. And of course, mindfulness and meditation has become very popular in today's world. 45% of people who are participating in any self-improvement program are beginning to be mindful and start meditating. Any therapy that we include, when you add mindfulness to it, there is a 60% decrease in the anxiety level. So 82% of people, when they are supported by a resilience program, they say they are able to make better social connections. So I think I don't need to produce any more authentic, pure psychological, medical, and psychiatric research to show that resilience is something which is very important and very relevant in 2025. Now, there may be some questions you may ask, can you really measure resilience? Yes, we have some standardized tools with which we can measure resilience. Then many people say, okay, I've got this level of resilience, but I don't know if I can make it better. You certainly can make it better because it's never enough. You can just keep on working on your resilience and keep making it better and better and better. So I've already answered the question, how does resilience affect mental health? We know that if you have a high resilience, even if you have something which challenges your mental health, your recovery is 60% better. So resilience, therefore, is a very, very vital skill, which is important for navigating life's uncertainties. So it can be in the workplace, it can be in your personal life, it can be your mental health, it can be in any sphere of life. When you invest yourself in yourself and in your company or in your colleagues or in your family on training them in resilience, you get better outcomes overall. Now, this entire research which I've quoted was last updated on February 2nd, 2025. So this is just hot off the press, literally. And Steve Rode is the person who put together all this research. And so I've shared with you how resilience is such an important skill to have, and that it has skills which can be taught, which can be learned. That's the good news. It's not enough to know it's important and then wonder, oh, how on earth can I get resilient? And I am a brain health and resilience coach, and so I'm very, very keen that people understand the relevance of resilience. Now, do we have anybody whom we can think of immediately of famous people who have bounced back? Yes, that young girl Malala. You know how she bounced back, isn't it? She was subjected to a terrorist attack, she and her family. And then she's now become world famous. She's just a young child. She's about 14, 15 years old. She's gone around the world changing people's minds about how violence and wars and this kind of jihadi kind of thing is not desirable. We all know the story of Nelson Mandela, how he was put into a little box. He was not even kept in a prison cell. He was put into a little box, isolated for days on end, weeks on end. But throughout, his thoughts were only about how when he comes out, he's going to save his people. And you know that he was the main reason why they managed to get rid of apartheid, which was a discriminating thing of the blacks in Africa. Then we know about the Apple story. Steve Jobs, he invented the Apple computer, he did that, then they kicked him out of the job. But then he kept persisting and developed a parallel similar thing. But then they got him back into the job. And you know that everybody's got an iPhone, everybody wants an iPhone, and you know the story of Apple. So these are in real life, these are the really big stories. There are hundreds, thousands of such stories that we meet people in our daily lives who have undergone an adversity. So resilience means that ability to adapt to the adversity, make it into your advantage, convert it into something positive, start thriving and start inspiring yourself and other people because you have managed to succeed at overcoming an obstacle and making it into an opportunity. Now, we have very solid brain studies today because 100 years ago we did not have CT, MRI, PET scans, all this. Now we've got some amazing tools by which we can study the brain even as it is functioning. So it has been found that there is a part of the front of the brain. Now we have two components of the main components of the brain, which we are going to talk about when it comes to stress, emotions, and resilience. One is the front of the brain on either side, the frontal lobe. We have what is called as the frontal lobe. It's called the prefrontal cortex. Now, this is your rational brain, your conscious brain. It's about 10% of your brain functioning, which is talking to the subconscious brain, which is 90% of your brain. Now, the subconscious brain has got all the memories that you have since creation. So, if you believe in rebirth and if you've gone through many lives, it's got ancestral memories, it's got your past life memories, it's got your this life's memories. Everything is embedded in that subconscious. And that is what sometimes we say that you can use the conscious mind like a mother and get in touch with the subconscious mind as your inner child. That is who you really, your soul is your subconscious. So now subconscious doesn't know the difference between good, bad, right, wrong, nothing. It just is like a vessel. It holds everything. It's there. It's capable of responding to a command. And what has happened in resilience, we command our subconscious and our emotional brain to reset itself, rewire itself in such a way that it is able to be positive in whatever it does. So when we give it negative signals, it will just obey you. It will do what you tell it to do. Now it has been found that you can cope with the stress in one of two ways. One is you can have resilient coping. Another is you can do risky coping. So what does see? Supposing I had a heartbreak. Let us say I had a heartbreak. So what do some men do when they have a heartbreak? They start doing risky coping, they start drinking. They start taking alcohol. So now that is an example of risky coping of a heartbreak. But a resilient coping of a heartbreak, maybe you'll start working on yourself, you'll start meditating, you'll start doing something, seeking out your friends, you'll seek therapy. All of this is resilient coping. And I told you the reward circuit of the brain is in this part of the brain. Of the prefrontal cortex, it is on the inner side of the prefrontal cortex and in the underside of the prefrontal cortex. Now, if you look here, during resilient coping, your reward centers are lighting up, which means it is doing good things to you when you cope with resilience. When you do risky coping, there is no activity in the ventromedial. Ventro means underneath, medial means inner side. So in the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, there is nothing. There is no activity at all. And that is not a good thing. So we know today that which part of the brain plays a role. But the way we found this initially was a very famous patient. He had a very peculiar injury. A long pole penetrated him from here and went through both his frontal lobes and came up through his head. It was a very bad injury, but the man survived. They pulled out that pole and everything, but he had permanent damage to both his prefrontal lobes. And so it was many studies where they studied him, and with the severe impairment of that, what were the problems he had, what were the issues he had. So if you and I don't use our ventral and medial prefrontal cortices to our advantage by being resilient and activating our reward circuit, we have what is called as difficulty in personal and social decision making. So what happens when I go to a party? I may go inappropriately dressed. I may talk inappropriately. I don't understand that I am doing it inappropriately. Also, when you are faced with multiple difficulties and you have to choose an option, which you're not sure which way it will go, like let us say you have to cross the road. Okay, it's a decision. Now, you're not quite sure whether you should wait for the pedestrian crossing light to come or you want to run across the road. When you decide to run across the road, it's an uncertain outcome. So you're not able to decide which you want to do. So you'll step onto the road, then back, again step there, so you'll keep on vacillating. Now, the third thing that happens when your prefrontal cortex, ventromedial prefrontal cortex is damaged is that you don't learn from your mistakes. How many of us are already like that? Isn't it? Many of us are already like that. We still can't learn from our mistakes. We make the same mistake over and over and over again. So they make the same decision again and again, even though the previous time they did it, it had a negative consequence. And another thing they observed in these patients was that they want instant gratification. They want instant reward. So they will take risks. They will do risky things. And they don't worry about the future consequences of their actions. So here we don't fully understand the mechanisms of this behavior. But we know that when our ventromedial prefrontal cortex is not functioning well, that all of these issues can be there. And we also know that if there is no permanent damage with a structural injury or something, and if it's only a functional thing that we are having, it is possible for us to understand it and change it. And it is also, the flip side of that is the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, when it's functioning at its peak, it is found to function at its peak in people who have a lot of courage, who are very brave, who are very resilient, who are able to put up with a lot of difficulty, who have experienced grit. So they allow a snake to come near them. They are able to do acts of courage, etc. Also, when you activate the ventromedian prefrontal cortex, which we can do through mindfulness, meditation, various other techniques, you can suppress the way you react to a negative emotional signal. So you can change the way you react when somebody says nasty things about you. Or you can change the way when you're diagnosed with something very, very difficult to bear. It's very important for regulating and inhibiting our response to emotions. So some people, you'll notice that when they're very mentally tough, when somebody dies, they can't even cry. Haven't you seen people like that? I have. So it takes them a long time to break that inhibition of a response to the emotion and break down. It's not necessarily good, but the fact is that you can inhibit your response to emotions. Now, our emotional reactions, they model our behavior, and we need to control ourselves, our emotions in certain social situations. So let us say I'm giving a lecture in a hall. Somebody says something really nasty, or gets up, starts shouting, or comes to the stage and even threatens to hit me. So our immediate reaction could be fear. Yes, that is justified. But does it justify my retaliating and slapping him back? Not really. So if you are resilient and if you have got your ventromedial prefrontal cortex in full action, you will know how to control your emotional reaction. You may just call for help, or you may tell him, sir, this is not appropriate. If you don't mind, please step down, or something like that. So understand the importance of the ventromedial prefrontal cortex in managing your emotions and in resilience. Now, there is another structure in the brain. You may think, some of you may think this is too much science, but when you understand what is going on inside your brain, you will understand also that the brain is trainable, that all these skills are learnable and teachable. So there is a part of the brain, looking on the inner side of the brain. This part of the brain is called the emotional brain. Okay. Here there are portions of the brain. This is the front part. This is the back part. So you will see here, it's called the ventral anterior cingulate cortex. So ventral means underside. And it is anterior, which means it's in the front. So is this. This is also ventral and it's in the front. So this part, the anterior cingulate gyrus, as it's called, is very, very important for the way you appraise an emotion. I told you about cognitive flexibility. That cognitive control is from this part of the brain. And when you see two things which are not right, which are wrong answers of two things, and there is a conflict whether this or that has to be chosen. We know that both are in error. For that kind of analysis and really in-depth analysis, you need the anterior cingulate cortex. And if you look at the rest of the anterior cingulate cortex, which we talked about, it processes emotion, all universal emotions. And the lower part is related to reward. So if I do this, I get joy out of it. If I do that, I'm appreciated. If I do that, it gives me pleasure. It also helps you to analyze and sort out any emotional conflict. Should I do this? Shouldn't I do this? Should I do this? Should I do? And it also takes care of all the universal emotions. Now, the universal emotions are emotions that every human being in the entire planet experience. It is universal. So they are surprise, disgust, sadness, anger, fear, and happiness. These emotions are experienced by everybody. Now, the secondary emotions are your guilt, shame, fear, all of those. Fear is your primary emotion, but guilt, shame, pride, all of that is secondary emotion. And there is another structure here in front of this emotional brain called the nucleus accumbens. Don't worry about the words, just understand the concept. The nucleus accumbens, which is also part of the reward circuit. So if we look at the reward circuit, it consists of many parts of the brain. So it consists of this part of the brain called the ventral tegmental area. It consists of the other part I told you, the anterior cingulate. It consists. Please mute yourself, madam. It consists of the anterior cingulate. It consists of the prefrontal cortex. So there are connections between all of this. And all of this is mediated by a neurotransmitter called dopamine. So when we get joy, when we feel reward, when we are motivated, for all of this, the reward circuit is activated and dopamine is produced. That is why we call it a dopamine hit. It's like the same pathway is involved in addiction. So what we suggest is that you can get addicted to something bad and activate this reward circuit. Like when I take a drink, I feel high, I feel good. That's activating my dopamine hit and activating my reward circuit. But we know that that is a damaging way of activating your dopamine circuit. But when you do something joyful, when you have fun with your family, when you are in a very loving relationship, also dopamine is released and the reward circuit is activated. So we have to learn. Resilience is about making more of the experiences which activate our reward circuit and which activate our dopamine pathway into more meaningful, more beneficial, more nurturing. So it is about converting an obstacle into an opportunity, an adversity into an advantage. So that is what resilience is all about. So resilience, therefore, is adaptability and flexibility, cultivating a growth mindset. Having a strong support system is very useful for resilience, because when you're vulnerable, you must have somebody to whom you can say, it's okay for me to be not okay. Now, practicing self care is a bottom line for acquiring resilience. Because if you're physically unwell, or if you're emotionally or mentally unwell, you will not be able to get the mental toughness, the emotional regulation, and the physical strength to handle a challenge or to adapt to something which threatens you. But while you're on this journey of learning resilience, you need to set realistic goals. Understand, your goals have to be realistic. You have to be able to cope with it. Because 90% of the time, when you decide you're going to learn resilience, you're already feeling the impact of lack of resilience. That is why you're seeking a solution. That is why you're seeking to change that. And bonding, both social bonding, all of that. I told you how the ventromedial prefrontal cortex is very important for social relationships. So when you are in your bonding with anybody, you must understand that you need competence, mastery, and commitment in order to build your resilience. And the hierarchy of resilience is, it starts with intentional discomfort. See, when you face a challenge, if you run away from the challenge, you will never learn how to leverage the challenge to your advantage. So you have to be intentional and say, I know this is uncomfortable, but I will not stay in my comfort zone and run away from this. I will stretch my comfort zone just a little bit more, try to get into the learning zone so that I can actually come out of this. So that is the first step. You must become comfortable with discomfort. Then you need to have the mindset, which we just talked about. It's a growth mindset. Now, the growth mindset helps you to understand that it is possible to change, it is possible to convert, it's possible to create a solution. It is possible. Creates possibility thinking. A growth mindset is about possibility thinking. A resilience mindset is one step more. It means I know that I can change it. Now, mindfulness is about being in the present moment. And when you're sitting, if you look at your life as three triangles, and you say the center triangle is your present moment, most of us, the back triangle behind us is our past. Most of us are living our present based on our past. And our future is ahead of us and is an unknown area. Now, supposing you take this first triangle and put it, the third triangle and put it where the first one is, and shift the first triangle to the third place. What happens? Your future goals, your future desires is what is driving you. And you're keen on changing your life. And so you operate in the present moment from that. And you say, yes, there were things in my past which happened. That's in front of me. I know it's there. It's over. I cannot do anything about it, but I can learn from it. So I use it like a reference library. So understand that your motivation level will be completely different, because yesterday is a cancel check. Tomorrow, future is a promissory note. Today is cash in hand. So work on spending the cash that you have. That is being in the present moment. Another very important step for you to develop resilience is, why am I here? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why do I want to be a better human being? Why is it that I want to be able to bounce out of this challenge? Why is it I want to bounce back from whatever tragedy I have suffered? Right? Human beings require meaning to remain motivated. I must understand what is its. Most of us, what we do, the way the human mind works is we either avoid a stress or this thing, pain, or we go towards pleasure or something which is rewarding. So for that whatever is happening to me must have some meaning. Okay, this is happening to me to teach me this lesson. This is happening to me because I did not take care of my health. And so I got a cancer. So, like this, that is a very important. The meaning element has to be there when you're developing your resilience. The other one is belonging. All of us are walking with one invisible board around our neck saying, appreciate me. We all want love. We all want to be loved and we want to belong. And the nature of the human being is, man is a social being, is to form tribes, groups, my people, my clan, my religion, my country. That is part of the human condition. So the sense of belonging to something, to a family, to a church, to a organization, that sense of belonging will help you to build your resilience better. But last but not least, in my opinion, the whole thing should be flipped. The bottom line, if you have, all the rest automatically are possible. So if you have a strong mind, body, soul wellness, which is what resilience coaching does for you, you will be able to stack all of this on top of that in your life. So what is a real life story of resilience? We need to overcome adversity and in the process, not give up. We have to have the power of perseverance. Like that Richard in the spider story, that a spider kept coming back and this thing, and he kept watching it, and then he said, "Yes, that power of perseverance or persistence is important." You must be open to embracing change. You should have a support network. You should build a support network because it's very difficult. Many of us think when we suffer that we suffer alone, but somebody has already suffered it before. Somebody is going to suffer it after it. So, and if you have somebody who can see you through the suffering, it's useful. So have a support network, people you can rely on, people you can fall back on. That is why communities in many programs, they help each other. And if you're very badly affected, you have to seek professional help. And when you are stuck with, okay, I cannot do this, I cannot do that, I cannot do that, pick the best option. It may not be the ideal option. Pick the best option under the circumstances and go for it. Go for it 100%. And then your conclusion may not be as good an outcome as you expected. Now, let us say my own cancer story. At that time, a friend of mine came and said, "Shall I ask my Tibetan doctor to come and see you?" So I said, "No." See, I know that chemotherapy has complications. I know that radiation has complications. I know that the surgery is very difficult because the location of my cancer was the rectum. I knew that I may have to live with an extra bag all my life. But I opted for this knowing, but at least I'll still be alive, I think, based on statistics and data, which I may or may not be. So I chose the best option at that time. And by God's grace, all has gone well. But it may not always go well. Then don't get desperate because that's the best you could have done under the circumstances. So don't beat yourself up. Don't sabotage yourself. Love yourself and appreciate that you are doing the best you can at all times. See, when we are stressed, lot of things come and stress us. There'll be worries at work. Our diet may not be good, financial pressure, poor sleep, relationship issues, health concerns. All of this comes into our stress bucket. And the risk is when we get into unhelpful coping mechanisms, like drinking, drug addiction, falling into bad company and things like that, you're actually adding to the stress bucket. and you begin to feel overwhelmed, stressed, anxious. But if you are allowing some of it to go out, releasing the stress, you're taking time for things that you enjoy, you practice mindfulness, you have resilience, you're talking to people, you're having a good time management, you're relaxed, the stress bucket slowly empties itself. So this is very important for us to understand that I told you risky coping versus positive coping. So this is how your stress bucket will look when you cope well below this. But this is how it will look when your coping is risky. It will never get empty. And remember that sometimes, yes, it feels as if the burden is just too heavy. I can't, I'm just giving up. When you feel like that, it's okay to put it down, take a rest, break it into small bits. I can handle this much now. So understand, you can leave the past behind. You can just handle the present. Don't worry about the future. We'll come to it later. Because the pain doesn't get smaller. You have to make yourself better at carrying it. So when you're resilient, you come up with novel solutions like this to carry the burden that you're suffering under. Another thing is our mind is a monkey. It will magnify any problem. So the reality of the problem may only be this big, but our mind will say it is this big. Now, when that happens, there again, a resilient mindset will take things in the right perspective and will also focus on things they can control, not waste their energy, time, and effort on things they cannot control. And once they know what they can control, they will know that if they persevere and if they keep working at it, it's only a matter of time before they resolve it. So, right now, it may look like this, but a week later, it may just look like this, but you're still struggling. But maybe in a month, you can stand there and say, aha, I've beaten you. I've come out of it. So understand that perseverance and grit is a very important quality of resilience. But what stops us? Mainly our mindset. In our mindset, we think of barriers, we think of our limits, we have a lack mentality, we think of the loss, we think of our regrets, we have fears, doubts, insecurities, we keep dwelling on our failures. So if you take the knife and cut all of these, then you're going to heal free and you can handle whatever is happening to you. So I want to reiterate those key takeaways again, that when you have increased resilience after a major life challenge, your resilience actually increases by 60% after you faced a challenge. So don't run away from challenges. When you have high resilience, you're 35% more productive. When there are resilience training programs incorporated in your personal life or your work life or your whatever, you become 40% more productive. And those who practice mindfulness, 75% of them have higher levels of emotional regulation, management, etc. And when you are very strong, your learning is possible. You're able to learn, not drop out of even tough learning experiences. So we are actually, for Tamil New Year, we are launching. Do I have your permission now before we proceed to take a few questions or doubts on what we have talked so far? And also, do I have your permission to share with you a program that we are launching on Tamil New Year's Day on the 14th of April for improving your resilience, which you might be interested in? So can you please open your videos, all of you, and just share with me any questions or doubts or anything that you have on what we have just covered. Was the science part too tough? Yeah. Was the science part very tough? Or could you understand it? The idea is to get the concept, not worry about the names. That we have a reward circuit, and that when you do healthy coping, you're actually activating the reward circuit. Thank you, Ambika. Thank you, Shalini, for joining. Gauri, Nandini, Selvakumar. How are you doing, Selvakumar? Long time.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. So nice
Right.
to meet you.
So what about the others? Open your videos and tell me, do you have any doubts? This is question time. Where are you from, Gauri? You've got a very cute child's photo. You can unmute and talk, madam, if you want. Trichy, okay. Nobody? No questions? Okay, then I will just tell you this Tamil New Year program that we've got, which is actually quite an interesting program. So we are already doing a 90-day resilience program called Lotus Wealth Consciousness 10X. Now, some people have told me that 90-day commitment is too long. So what we've done is we're teaching most of those concepts in a fast track program. So here we are doing the neuroscience backed strategies. If you're feeling overwhelmed, mentally drained, stuck in life, struggling to bounce back, our fast track program is for just 14 days. And how this happens, and this is for anybody, but people in midlife find it more useful in 45 to 65 age group. So what are the benefits you get? You'll be able to rapidly rewire your brain using all these neuroscience concepts. You'll notice an improvement in mental clarity, decision making. You'll learn neuroscience-backed techniques. You'll gain your energy, emotional stability, motivation, life purpose, all of this. You'll be a changed person. So you got powerful, actionable lessons, good exercises, strategies, direct guidance from me, Q&A sessions, a lot of bonus materials will be shared with you. All of this. Now let us listen to some of the people who have done a 14-day program in the past. Devi, professional singer from Chennai. Can you hear the sound?
This 14-day program has been one of the best things I've ever done in my life. To tell you the truth, it has truly helped me to make me a better person, a better version of myself. It has improved my sadness and my anxiety and made my mindset so positive. I really appreciate all the effort put in by Dr. Prithika. Now I really look forward to enjoying my life and being a better person and giving back to the society. Thank you.
Thank you. Devi, professional. Miss Janani, who is an artist.
Hello, everybody. This is Janani. I'm an artist from Salem. This past 14 days has been extremely helpful for me, and ma'am has made me come out of my fears of facing in doctors. I previously had a fear of doctors and appointments, and now I actually look forward to the sessions conducted by ma'am. So it's a huge win for me, and I also got through the free class that ma'am has graciously offered. And now I also want to give back to the society like the way ma'am does. And I've learned a lot about my body and my mind. And I look forward to put all this into practice and learn more from ma'am by joining the class and programs further. Thank you, ma'am, so much.
Mr. Tamachelvan, mind and memory coach.
Yes. Happy morning all. Last 14 days, the 2 weeks மேடமோட இந்த ப்ரோக்ராம் நான் அட்டன் பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தேன். நியூரோ பத்தி நிறைய தெரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டேன். ஈவன் தோ ஒரு மைண்ட் மெமரி கோச்சா இருந்தாலும் ஐ நோ டெக்னிக்ஸ். பட் மேடம் சொன்னதுல இவ்வளோ பார்ட்ஸ் இருக்கு, எவ்வளோ அவங்களோட போட்டிருக்க ஸ்லைட்ஸ்க்கு அவங்க எடுத்துக்கிட்ட ப்ரிப்பரேஷன் டைம் மட்டுமே நிறைய இருந்திருக்கும். ஸோ நான் சொல்றது இது வந்து மோஸ்ட் வேல்யூபிள் செஷன் ஐ எவர் அட்டெண்டட் அப்படின்னு நான் சொல்லுவேன். என் டைம் இந்த 14 டேஸ் ரொம்ப ஃப்ரூட்ஃபுல்லாக இருந்தது. ஸோ இதை நான் இம்ப்ளிமெண்ட் பண்ணி நிறைய ஐ எம் ரியலி கிரேட்ஃபுல் டு மேம். I wish you to reach more people அதாவது நான் கூட அதை நான் சப்போர்ட் பண்ணுவேன். நிறைய பேருக்கு உங்களோட ப்ரோக்ராம் நான் ரெக்கமெண்ட் பண்ணுவேன். ஐ ஸ்ட்ராங்லி ரெக்கமெண்ட் மேடம் ப்ரோக்ராம் டு ஆல். தேங்க்யூ மேம்.
Brahma, housewife, but also takes care of a lot of business as well, family business. And she's the mother of one of my patients, but she's a long-time friend.
Good morning, Doc. Good morning, everybody. I have no words to express my gratitude to Doctor because she's been my guiding force all through. I have been a lot of challenges in life, and she's been the only person who I could speak to, and she's been of immense help. And she would reach out to me at any point of given time. Like in case I just call her, she's there, which is very, very difficult for such a doctor who's so professional and who's so famous, and she's got so many in her own hands. But she's been very, very nice. Thank you so much. This session which I had, Doc, with you for these 2 weeks has been immensely satisfying, and I've changed so much. I myself don't know how to express it. I've been so joyful, and I used to be a person when I get up in the morning, my thoughts were all so negative, and I used to worry about so many things which was unwanted though. But now I've been it's been really, really good. And I've started focusing. I don't have that irrational fear, worry, and I'm sailing along very well with these advices and your training and all that. I don't know. I am actually not able to express it. So much is there to tell about you, which is too short, just 2 minutes. But you're godsend for me. You're my living God. I love you a lot, Doc.
Thank you. This is Dr. Monica, gynecologist, laparoscopic surgeon from Uttar Pradesh.
Ma'am, attending your session was a blessing in disguise for me. You are a wise person, which every household, everybody should have. Your wisdom is what everybody needs. Ma'am, thanks for being there in our life, and thanks for enlightening us.
Thank you. Chitra, housewife.
Thank you, ma'am, for these 14 days. And I got an overall view of how to get organized and committed doing all this. And then detox or the importance I learned from you only. I never knew it's going to be of such value. And then consistency, and I'm getting out of my lethargy. Somehow your words keep bringing. I feel I should get more organized. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Now, there were some people who were too shy, who did not want their faces. So I just put an AI image, like an imaginary person there. This is Ananya Sharma. She looks like she's 35. She is 52, but she's such a fantastic entrepreneur that, she's made a success of everything she has touched. And this is her feedback, where she says that in just 14 days, my confusion lifted. I gained crystal clear clarity about my life's purpose. See, you can be 52 and still not have your life's purpose. So one of the elements of our program is purpose and passion discovery. So I feel more confident, energized, optimistic, and that was her feedback. Then we had Rajesh, who's a corporate executive. He was a doubting Thomas right from the beginning. I was skeptical at first. How could real transformation happen so quickly? How can 14 days change a person? But you heard earlier of the live video testimonials from many people who have said that they have changed in 14 days. So I've become resilient like never before. Challenges that used to drain me now energize me and empower me. Then we have this lady. She is a teacher in a school. She's 47. And she says it's a breath of fresh air. I learned to manage my emotions and stress levels effectively. She was having some relationship issues. Those have improved. My energy levels have skyrocketed. So this is the best reset button every midlifer needs. Then we had this gentleman. He was 55. He's HR consultant. And when he came to this, he had a difficulty in new learning. He said he felt he knew it all. I already know all this. I'm a HR professional. I'm trained in this kind of attitude he had. And he said that this is his testimonial. So daily exercises, brain hacks gave me immediate results. I've become mentally sharper, more adaptable, highly recommended. And of course, we had the 63-year-old retired banker. This isn't just another program, it's a transformational journey. I experienced a profound mindset shift. So even at 63, you realize that sometimes the way you're thinking is not okay. And you're able to change it. The beauty about the brain is there's neuroplasticity. If you keep using your brain, you can keep changing the structure, function, capacity. So at 63, I never felt younger, healthier, or happier. And I'm your coach. I'll be your coach throughout that program. Just to tell you a little bit about me, I've got over 50 years of experience in neurology, brain health. I'm an expert in resilience training. I've invested almost 3-4 crores in my training. And I'm passionate about empowering particularly midlifers to thrive. Because when you are in midlife, we have this midlife crisis. Will I be all right? Will I be healthy? Will I have enough money? Will my future be, my children be there? Will somebody look after me? All of these things. So they're a special group in my target audience. And I'm very purpose driven to make any individual or person better because I touch their life. So what is this immersive Lotus Consciousness workshop? In week 1, you will have daily sessions from 7 to 8, just 1 hour. And the topics will be radical self-acceptance, resilience building, identity shift, stress fitness, emotional regulation, positive motivation, purpose and passion discovery, cultivating gratitude, positivity, and mindset. Then on the following Monday, this is Monday to Friday. On the following Monday, we'll take all these concepts and deepen it further. It's mistakenly put 7 to 8. That will be a 2-hour session, 7 to 9. And we will work on all of these and show how to practically bring them into your life. On that same week 2 Friday, 7 to 9, we will set the stage for your immersive work or for Saturday, Sunday. So this is integration, preparation, overview. Your intention setting will happen here. What is it you want to achieve through this program? And setting the stage. On Saturday, 11 to 1 morning session, we'll go deeper into radical self-acceptance, resilience building through adversity, stress fitness, emotional regulation. Lunch break will be 1 to 2 and 2 to 4. We'll go deeper into purpose, passion discovery, cultivating gratitude, positivity, etc. You'll have a half an hour break in the evening, and 4:30 to 6 will be self-confidence, assertiveness, how to set boundaries. Many of us don't know how to set boundaries, how to say no. I cannot be available to you. So Sunday, the same 11 to 1, 1 to 2 lunch, and there'll be 3 sessions, morning, afternoon, and evening, 11 to 1, 2 to 4, and 4:30 to 6. And here, one of the important aspects is we will be including clearly a financial mindset and wealth creation. Because I believe for holistic wellness, wealth is also important. Overall, holistic well-being includes health and wealth. So don't feel shy that you are desiring wealth. It's perfectly all right. In fact, if you have a mindset that does not want money, then something is wrong with you. Because the more money you have, the more you can do for yourself and for other people. So don't feel shy or don't think it's wrong to want more money. Who should join this program? Anybody, except a midlife, especially the midlifers, anyone who wants fast, tangible results. How much time? I told you, anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes per day for 14 days. If you cannot attend the live sessions, you will get a recording. So how many of you are ready to fast track your way to resilience and peak performance? Now, this is being specially offered as a Tamil New Year offer. And this is for those who felt the earlier program we are doing 90 days is a 50K program, which we gave at a discounted price at an earlier session for a different reason. Now, actually, this program, because it's when you do an immersive program and you do it fast track, you're giving faster results, bigger, better, stronger. So actually, it should cost more. So it should cost anywhere around 1 lakh. But even my 90-day program, which is standard program, is 50K. So to celebrate New Year and to support your journey for personal transformation, I'm offering this as a fast track program for just 14 days, starting on 14th of November, which is Tamil New Year's Day. And it will be over for you by the 27th. So that is the 14 days. And the price is 30,000. The payment link is here. I will put it in the chat. Those of you who want to take fast action can do so. But let me also tell you that this is a special price, which is valid only for a short time, which will be valid only for this week up to Tamil New Year's Day. So those of you who really want to join and who really think they can get value out of this, please do click on the link and sign up. And one second. Just a minute. Yes. Now, any questions? I'm putting this link here in the chat. If anybody is interested, you can download it, make your decision later if you want. Yes. Any questions, any doubts, any information you want about the fast track program? One thing I don't like is the silence. So our 90-day participants, do you want to share how your journey has been so far? 6 weeks that you've done?
Yes, ma'am.
I've got another session at 6 o'clock. I say it's 5:20. So please talk. Don't be silent.
Yes, ma'am. As a participant of 90-day program, I feel really grateful and it's very useful to transform myself, ma'am. We used to hear classes and we used to revise and we used to forget. But during the 90-day program, we are given assignments, we are given daily tasks, which keeps rewiring and re-strengthening our network of our daily classes and makes it a practice in our daily life, which is absolutely very useful than all other classes. And I feel it's really needed, those who need resilience. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Priya. Vishali?
Yes, ma'am. As a participant of 90-day program, I felt I need a self-transformation, so I joined it. And this is useful who wants to have a resilient mindset. And I'm developing it. I'm thankful for it.
So can I just say hello to the newcomers? Gauri is a newcomer. Just want to meet you. That's all. Can I? Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
How did you know about this?
Actually, I have previously I have attended your free webinar, ma'am. So one day, I think so I'm in the WhatsApp group, so I got the notification so that I joined, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Good. Right. So what do you do?
I'm doing my PhD, ma'am, right now.
Okay, fine. Right.
Yeah, I'm married. I'm doing my PhD.
Okay. Now, Selva Kumar, you were on the wall whether to join the 90-day program or not. So the 90-day program is still open because what we are going to be doing is we are in week 6 now.
Okay.
But when once week 12 is over, we will be repeating it again later on.
Yes, ma'am.
But that will be 50K. These people got it as a special offer for 40K. And this program is only 2 weeks, 14th to 27th, and it's 30K. So if you don't have much time and things like that, this may be a bit. I've told you also the program breakup. So you will have to leave everything and be fully dedicated only from 25th evening, 7 o'clock till Sunday evening. But during the week, it's always just one day in the evening. And it is 14th to 18th, it is every evening, 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock,
8
just 1 hour. And then on the Monday, that is 21st, it will be a 2-hour evening thing. Then you're free again till 25th Friday. Then Saturday, Sunday, you must dedicate fully. So because you're a doctor and you're busy, doing clinic and all that, this might work for you better.
Sure.
So download the link
Sure.
and keep it, and then
I have,
decide
yes,
to make the
I have
payment.
taken
Right.
screenshot.
But one thing, I guarantee you that I have now developed a lot of new ways of teaching. We are using a concept of accelerated learning, layered learning, all kinds of new strategies. You won't even know that you're learning. Okay. And that is why we are able to produce such fast results. Otherwise, it seems a bit unbelievable that such thing. You heard people go in 14 days. You've also been in one 14-day program.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So changes, it's possible. Anyway, for those of you who are interested, I'm going to be doing an Insta Live now at 6 o'clock on 5 strategies to rewire your brain. Okay, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
I have to go because 6 o'clock I have to be ready for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Decide to join, you can tell your friends that there are other options now. We offer all kinds of options, so that's it.
I have only one question, ma'am. Is there
Yeah,
any
tell me.
programs within 2000 range?
Sorry?
Is there any resilience program within 2000 range, ma'am?
It's not strictly a resilience program because resilience training needs time and this thing. But we do a daily morning huddle 7:30 to 8, which is a subscription program for 2,000 rupees a month. You can join for 1 month, not join for 1 month. You can drop in, drop out. You can renew every month, that kind of